So we start to come to things that we're, I suppose, a little bit more familiar with here now in our recording of the customer receipt. So the payment from the principal contractor, simply a customer receipt. So you would go into your bank, receipts, make sure you're in the right bank account, go into receipts and customer receipts. And when we pop in the account reference B1, big contractor will come up. That's the fictitious one I've been using just for this example. Big contractor will come up. You'll see that he owes you 1,600 and we're assuming that he's paid you that full 1,600 by cheque. Okay, so that will automatically come up. You'll pop in, click onto the receipt box. As you see it here, it's highlighted in blue, and click on pay in full and the 1,600 will come up there automatically. Okay, you do not, by the way, put the 1,600 amount up in the amount box in the receipts details, because if you do that it won't allocate that payment against this specific invoice. So you go into the receipts box that I have highlighted in blue there and you click on pay in full, or you key in, let's say for example if he had only paid you 1,000, you would key in 1,000 there and that allocates that amount against that specific invoice. Okay, so it's bank, receipts, customer receipts. In the customer details put in your account B1 and that will give you the details of that customer, of any invoices or credits that are outstanding. Put in the date that you made the receipt and then click in there to that receipt in the line underneath there that I have highlighted in blue and click on pay in full. Okay, so that's how you would record that receipt from your principal contractor. And I'm just saying to you, remember now that that contractor has paid you in full as far as you are concerned. As far as you are concerned, he is paying you 1,600. He's paying revenue 400 on your behalf. So now he owes you nothing, but there should be 400 sitting there waiting for you in revenue. And we're going to have a look at that now in a moment. Okay, so that's all there was to that part 4, that topic 4 about recording the receipt from the principal contractor. That's it, just a simple customer receipt, because you've already accounted for the invoice, you've already accounted for the relevant contracts tax, which is going to be withheld. So that's all you need to do on that one. Next up then, we're going to look at accounting for that RCT that was paid directly to revenue. Now I just want to remind you that under the RCT system it's done electronically through ROS, and it's the principal contractor's obligation to make sure that everything is entered there. So they have to notify revenue of all contracts, they have to notify revenue of all payments, they have to provide details to you, the subcontractor, of the tax that they will be deducting, and they have to submit a deduction summary which is monthly or quarterly to revenue and actually pay that RCT from payments made to subcontractors. Okay, so it's really important that you know that it is the principal contractor that does all of that. You can view it when you go into manage my RCT on ROS. You can view it. So if you've gotten a payment, you should look to see, was the RCT paid? Okay, and just working out the details of that, of when one is paid and when the other is paid. But you will see that there from the moment that they notify revenue of that payment details, you should be able to see that RCT. Okay, so it's the principal contractor that records the RCT on ROS. As I say, all of the contracts, all of the payments, details of how much that they are going to be deducting, and the return is all on the principal contractor, not the subcontractor. But you should regularly review the payments made via ROS on your contracts to make sure that RCT has been recorded promptly. Remember, what's really important is that this is your tax and you're going to be looking to claim this back, or you're going to be looking to offset it. Now remember, that won't happen in the tax year that it's paid, it'll only happen after the tax year. So it's yours to claim back, and it's up to you to make sure as you go along that everything is being accounted for. Okay, now because you have looked at this way of recording the relevant contracts tax that's going to be withheld through Sage, that makes it very simple for you. So let's have a look at how you would check to see, is it being paid. So on the left hand side here you would see your nominal account. So let's say for example you pop in and you go to nominal codes, go over to reports and look at the report for, or the activity for 3150. Okay, and it shows you that reference invoice 1, there's €400 there that should be in it. On the right hand side then, when you go into ROS, you would have a look and you would say, okay, go into manage relevant contracts tax, and then you go say download RCT notifications received, and in there you should be able to see a match for what you have in your nominal account should be in your ROS. Now clearly in this particular instance I don't have access to someone's specific ROS, so I've just made up a ROS amount here, and I'm just showing this amount of 320 having been paid to revenue on your behalf. Okay, but what you would be looking for is that your nominal account and your ROS account would match each other, and if they didn't, you'd want to know why. Now, if you saw something like this one here, do you see where we've got 320 in ROS? That might mean that you haven't been paid in full yet. So it might mean that you have been paid, instead of being paid 2,000 with 400 deducted, you have been paid, let us say, if we multiply that 350 across there, so 320 by 5 is 1,600. So in this case, it might mean that you have been paid 1,600 with 320 deducted. Okay, so that could be the specific case there. So all it would mean is if there was less, that you might not have been paid the full amount, but you would want to check that, and you would want your nominal account and your ROS account to match each other once you had been paid in full for a specific invoice. Okay, so that's what we would do there. That is with regard to checking to see that the principal contractor has recorded the payment and has actually paid that amount to revenue. So again, if we just click here and we say, what did we want to look at? We wanted to look at recording that receipt, which is very straightforward, and also then accounting for that. So checking to see that it has actually been paid, that the principal contractor is doing what he is supposed to be doing. And although it is his responsibility, it of course is up to you to make sure that what is supposed to be happening is actually happening. And remember that here on your nominal account, where we look at it over here, you're going to have a list. So let's say if you had five RCT invoices there, you're going to have 5 different figures, and you should be able to match them up with the RCT payment notifications that have been received on revenue. And again, I say you would see that through your ROS and manage my RCT. Okay, so that's us. The next thing we're going to have a look at is reclaiming RCT if there are no taxes due. Okay, and in topic 6 we'll look at what we would do if there were taxes due. But for this one, the next thing we're going to look at is your topic 5, reclaiming RCT if there are no taxes due.